Before I put the floor piece in for here, I've done a little bit of wire brushing. I got more grinding to do underneath, obviously. But I have to rebuild this corner. So before I put that floor piece in, I want to get the structure right. And before I can get the structure completely worked on, it would be a lot easier if I had this section cut out. This is all rusty. So I've got this piece I'm forming now to get it to fit in here. Then I will cut the opening, and then I can work on that in there. So this is what the piece starts out as for the corner. This is for the other side. And a series of clamping and bending and cutting. End up with like this. So this needs a little bit of more grinding there because it bubbles out. This band comes around and then it starts to flare out, get less obvious here. So I'm still working on this, but I will tack this together once I open that up a bit and start forming it that way. Lots of ice grips, get things to hold in position. As is normal for me, lots of grinding to do, but first I'm going to take that off and I'm going to weld it up on the inside because I'm not sure how much penetration there is on those welds. So I have a little more heat on the inside. But it's holding its shape, so that one should work, and then I can cut that out and rebuild the frame. So that's it, just sitting there. I worked slowly down to get the depth right because that line there is important. So you can see now it's pretty much where it needs to be. It's got a very slight roll up or down or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to have to put a patch in here. I missed some thin metal, but it's okay because it would have been hard to get this bend anyway. Much easier with a small piece. So the rest, I'll just do this, the rest of this with filler, but it's got the bevel coming through and then it tapers out to a rounded, pretty much. So that should work. That leaves me access to this mess. So I can fix all that. And now I have the profile as well. I know how high it has to come. And then I can work on the other side. But this is going to take a little while. Looks like a shipwreck. The destruction is almost complete. So I found this other crack and such. So I'll have to make this all straight. And I'll just cut a patch. Put a patch in there. And then build up these other two pieces that need to be done. I was thinking of cutting this back, which I did, and then getting more room. So I got a little bit more room, but it's all attached, riveted down here, and this is a part of the sidewall of the box. So I can't really undo that. I'd have to undo all these seams here and here on the inside and pull it out carefully. So if I get real desperate, I might do that, but I'm thinking it's a lot easier. I'll just patch this. I'll just patch this and then patch that with a piece coming up and going around like it's supposed to be, and then complete this piece. As fortunately for me, I have the other side to copy. You can see how everything goes before I start fixing this side. So it'll be a copy of a copy, and you know how that goes. Here's something that I got from Fitzy's Fabrications. Don't throw out old discs. I used one smaller than this to get in here and cut this, and then I used this one to get in here. I have to pull this open a bit and finish cutting it all off and getting rid of the spot welds. Now I still have to do some grinding in there. I need a smaller disc to get in there, or a bigger one rather. It has to be extend past the end of the 4.5-inch grinder down there. Or I take the shield off, which could be done. So now it's almost ready to put the first patch panel back in. I'm going to clean it all up so I can and bevel it. So I can do both sides. Make it strong like new. Somehow, and it's not like me, I noticed that this was not square previously. It had a great big slope this way. Since I took it apart, everything flopped in. So I put this pipe in here, just a tie strap over to something secure, which happens to be the gas filler on this side. And I've cranked it so it's now square. There's a bit of a lump there in the box, but you can see pretty square. Which matches that side. That side is square as well. So you got to look for everything. We've started the fenders here, mostly because I'm trying to keep the noise down off and on. So on any pictures I could see the box fender openings match quite closely the front fender. So I bent this, cut this strip 3/4 of an inch wide, and bent it to fit the front fender on each side, and then I've clamped them in. So curvature is pretty good. And then I'll start trying to make these pieces here, but that comes after I get this all secured. So still a ways to go there, but once I get that all buttoned up, welded up, and do the back corner of the fender, then I can start on the fender openings. I just learned something valuable. I know, it's hard to believe. So I used this 36 grit sanding disc to grind off bits of metal here and there, and actually did a better job on the welds than the grinder disc. And you can, it also polishes, so you can see quite easily where all the high spots are and the low spots. See, that side's not too good. And then I've got to clean up that seam, that line that runs along here as well. But the curvature and everything else is good. This one, likewise, there's a spot right in here that I got to make the line more defined and clean up that bulge that you can see right in here. And then there's some that needs to be flatter. And the bottom edge is pretty good. Pretty happy with that. A bit of cleanup here on the end, make that a bit sharper. But this is all on the bottom of the box, and it's more for practice than showmanship. So I'm going to have to get a few more of those discs because they work quite well. This is the point at which I'm going to have to give up on this piece of metal. It's just too thin. I'm just running into too much trouble. Every time I weld it, I've got more holes to patch. Let's see, I missed a spot there. Got to grind yet. So I'm just gonna get it as close as possible. Just a couple little bumps here and there. There's a dip in there.
Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or even notify, or any of the above, or all of the above. Thank you.